but do you consider a specialist position for Ben Jacobs this week?
Yeah, we would consider it, but he won't play at all at any level this week. He's just pulled up a little bit sore in his ankle, completely unrelated to his previous foot injury, but he's a little bit sore nonetheless. So we'd probably plan for him to be available for AFL selection at this round. But again, with his history, we just want to make sure that we're ultra cautious. So we won't pick him at AFL level. Therefore, we think it's just prudent to give him another week off, and hopefully he'll be available for selection after the bye.
Will you still look for someone to run with Dusty?
It's an option. We're still weighing all those things up, to be honest. I think Dusty's been exceptional this year. That's clear for all to see. But I think the addition of Caddy and Prestia has given their midfield some more depth and versatility. So we'll just have to weigh all those things up and probably assess it in game as well.
Is he taggable given his strength around the ball?
Well, I think everyone's capable of being restricted to some level, but he's just such a powerful player that it's very difficult for one player to do that. But we've got some pretty powerful midfielders as well, so it all makes for a pretty enthralling contest.
If you did go down that line, Brad, is someone like, say, Dumont as an inside midfielder better fit than Sam Gibson?
Potentially. I mean, they've both got their strengths and vulnerabilities, I suppose. But look, it's going to be a matter of weighing up all our midfield priorities and trying to mitigate some of their strengths. And I don't think it's just going to be as simple as assigning direct matchups and hoping that'll get the job done. We'll look at a midfield mix that can take on what they throw at us and have the flexibility to change that within game if we need to.
Do you find room for Braden Bruce this week?
We haven't. No, we haven't been able to. I keep saying we're trying, and we are. It's not through lack of trying, but the forward combination of Waite, Brown, Wood is still pretty strong for us, and Goldie's an All-Australian ruckman, so just finding a spot for him is difficult, but we'll keep working on it.
Do you anticipate the ruck battle being a crucial one, because Nankervis has shown an ability to get forward and is quite strong around the contest as well?
Yeah, kicked a really important goal, obviously late against Essendon as well. So he's been impressive, and it's a big challenge for Goldie because he's been one of the premier ruckmen in the competition for a number of years now. But there are a number of other guys who are coming up and playing some really good footy. So I think it will go a long way to deciding the contest, because as we've already spoken about, the midfields are going to be crucial, and whoever can dictate and be a bit more proactive around there will probably prevail. So. Yeah, a lot falls on Goldie's shoulders this week.
Had a great recent record against Richmond. How much have they changed with some of the off-field acquisitions this year?
I think they've changed their game style pretty significantly, and to their credit, they've looked at ways to get better, and clearly they have got better. So prior records are probably more for supporters to talk about than for coaches. I think they're two very different teams this year. So we're looking forward to the challenge. They've been in good form, but I don't think the record counts for much.
Richmond probably has some issues getting a second key forward target this season. Does shutting down Jack Riewoldt go a long way to stopping them?
Yeah, well, obviously he's a good player, and he's kicked the majority of their goals. So he's always an important player for them, and it's going to be a big challenge for our defence. And but we think we've got pretty good systems in place to counter that. But again, he's a brilliant player, so he can do brilliant things. We've just got to make sure he's not brilliant for 120 minutes.
Did you see any of Josh Kelly's press comments yesterday, Brad? And if so, any take on it?
I didn't see it. What do you got for me, Nick?
Oh, no. Non-committal, didn't say much.
As I've said before, I'm not going to engage in a running commentary for the next however many months over this. So we'll just go about our work behind the scenes and let you guys speculate in the media.
We heard your brother yesterday talking a little bit about player welfare and I guess the stresses that are on players these days. Don't see many roos on Twitter anymore. Is that something that you guys have actively looked to sort of curtail because of that?
We do run a fairly comprehensive program in terms of educating the guys around the use of social media and, as for that matter, any form of publishing. But the club is very, very active on social media, and we try to direct a lot of our traffic through the club accounts. And I think most of you would agree our club's very open and very proactive on that front. But we do remind players that when they're engaging in social media, they're publishing. And the problem with instant access to social media sites these days is you can say things without fully thinking it through. And there's enough evidence of that out there at the moment. So we do a lot of education and put a lot of support around our players, and we certainly don't discourage it, but we just make sure that they're educated before they do use it.
Are we in a time now where, you know, maybe supporters need to be reminded that the stuff that they're writing goes to a real person and a real player? Have we reached that point yet where people need to be reminded?
Just treat others as you would expect to be treated yourself.
Right.
And if you think if you just have that simple philosophy in life, then you know, a lot of these silly things won't happen.
Brad, Wayne Swass spoke about it yesterday, the balance between the amount of physical trainers you have at a club and people looking after mental health. Do you think you've got the balance right?
We've got a very active mental skills program, both in a supportive capacity, but also in a proactive sports psychology capacity. And it's not something that is optional for us. We run the mental skills component of our program as part of our program, and it's not an optional thing, it's a compulsory normal part of the program, as would skill work and gym work. So you know, I'm not saying we're perfect, but there's no doubt that sports psychology and mental skills is the next frontier in professional sport. And again, not just from a supportive problem solving perspective, but also a proactive performance perspective.
Normally a bit of talk this time of the year, Brad, about state of origin footy and whether it could return. Would you like to see it return, and if it did, could it be fitted into the fixture as it stands?
I think it's a real challenge to fit it into the current fixture, and the players will tell you that the demands of the game are higher than ever, and I know the players would really like 2 evenly spaced byes throughout the year. So state of origin is always going to be driven by, or mostly by, what the players want to do, and while they're pushing for an extra break, it's hard to schedule in another game. So, and also as a coach, I mean, my role is to coach North, so I want our players available for us. But if I was a fan, I'd love to see state of origin footy, because why wouldn't you want to see the best running around against each other?